With December being right around the corner, it is time to talk about some exciting new releases next month. I have 10 books that I think sound absolutely intriguing, and I would like to pick them up, as well as an honorable mention section. I'm Morgan. If this is your first time here, I hope you find something that sounds intriguing that you might want to pick up as well. We'll go ahead with the first week of December that is interesting because a few of these are not the same day as normal. Most things are always put out on Tuesday. Every Tuesday is pretty much new book day. But our first one up is going to be on December 1st, which is the Monday, and that is Snake Eater by T. Kingfisher. This is a contemporary fantasy with, of course, probably a bit of her scary tinges that she does. With only a few dollars to her name and her beloved dog Cooper by her side, Selena flees her past in this city to claim her late aunt's house in the desert town of Quartz Creek. The scorpions and spiders are better than what she left behind. Because in Quartz Creek, there's a strange beauty to everything, from the landscape to new friends, and more blue sky than Selena's ever seen. But something lurks beneath the surface, like the desert gods and spirits lingering outside Selena's house at night, keeping watch. Mostly benevolent, says her neighbor, Grandma Billy. That doesn't ease the prickly sense that one of them watches too closely and wants something from Selena she can't begin to imagine. And when Selena's search for answers leads her to a journal entries that her aunt left behind, she discovers a sinister truth about her new home. It's the haunting grounds of an ancient god simply known as Snake Eater, who her late aunt made a promise to that remains unfulfilled. This one's very cool, and if you do the Amazon Prime, like the first reads that they have available to anybody who's subscribed, you could go ahead and pick this one up early for free. And I think it was only 300 pages or less than 300 pages. The number 288 is sticking in my mind for some reason, but I don't remember why. It could be this one, it could be something else. Then coming out on the 2nd, The Happiness Collector by Crystal King. After losing her book deal and her academic position, historian Ada Real needs a new career and fast. After all, she and her fiance Graham have a wedding to pay for. So when a friend recommends her for an extremely high paying position at a company called Moda, it feels like the perfect stroke of luck. And with a move to Italy and a breathtaking palazzo included, how could she say no? Aside from a snooty assistant, a daunting NDA, and some very stringent rules about the use of personal technology, working for Moda is a dream come true, at least at first. But the more research Ada conducts for this elusive company, the more things feel off. Not only does her relationship with Graham suffer, but it seems like every site she visits either vanishes or is struck by tragedy soon after she's been there. And possibly events unfold that maybe the company she's working for isn't exactly mortal in essence. Then we have an epic fantasy, Dawn of the Firebird by Sarah Mughal. I'm sorry, I mispronounced the author's name and about to mispronounce the main character's name. Camilla Zarazad's life has been built on a foundation of violence and vengeance. Every home she's known has been destroyed by war. As the daughter of an emperor's clan, she spent her childhood trying to maintain his throne. But when her clansmen are assassinated by another rival empire, plans change. With her heavenly magic of Nur, Camilla is a weapon even enemies would wield, especially those within the magical scholarly city of Zeskara. Hiding her identity, Camilla joins the enemy's army school full of jinn, magic, and martial arts, risking it all to topple her adversaries, avenge her clan, and reclaim their throne. To survive, she studies under cutthroat mystic monks and battles in a series of contests to outmaneuver her fellow students. But the more she excels, the more she is faced with history that contradicts her father's teachings. I like the look of this one. The cover is beautiful. It sounds very intriguing and epic of scale and scope and rivaling warring nations. Then one that's technically the second in a series that I haven't read the first of, but we are following a separate character this time. So maybe it's one that you can pick up either of them first. A Grim Reaper's Guide to Cheating Death by Maxi Dara. This is comedic fantasy / cozy mystery. Nora Bird works for Scythe, which stands for Sanitation Collection something human essence, which might sound odd for someone terrified of death as she is. But ever since her parents died in an accident when she was 6, she's been obsessed with avoiding risk. And what better way to learn how to cheat death than with the company that employs the nation's Grim Reapers? The work enables Nora to learn all about the myriad of ways you can kick the bucket, which is comforting until one day a file crosses her desk with a name she recognizes, her twin brothers. So, of course, she's going to try to save him, even if they haven't spoken in maybe like 6 months or so. Now, a fantasy romance that lots of people are looking forward to. It is Norse mythology retelling. It was supposed to come out in June. It got delayed. That is Fallen Gods by Rachel Van Dyken. They said the gods were myth, that giants were only stories told around dying fires. They lied. The gods aren't dead, they're only sleeping, locked in mortal bodies, scattered across the world, waiting for the right spark to wake them. And my father is the most ruthless of them all. He raised me to obey, to bleed, to be his blade when the time came. Now he's sending me to Edenar University, a place filled with ancient bloodlines and deadly seekers, to steal back Mjolnir? The legend, the hammer of legend. If I fail, everyone I love dies. But of course, there will be like an enemies to lovers sort of situation, as there will be a guy at this university that is definitely not the one that she should fall for. She needs to stay away from him. But it is the story that it is, or the well, I say that like it could have gone with a different trope, but this is what we like, what a lot of people like. So, and the cover is absolutely gorgeous. The themes sound really cool. Then continuing on in a series on December 4th, the fifth book in the Drowned Empire series, Traitor of the Drowned Empire by Frankie Diane Malice. The first book was Daughter of the Drowned Empire, and that introduced us to our main character, Lyrina Batovia. She is of the royal line of what's the country called? Bamara, which is normally a matriarchal line, but after the death of her mother, her father has been in charge. This has caused some civil unrest, and they, while they are a monarchy, they also owe their allegiance to the empire, as does everyone here. And the Lumerian Empire is survivors of a celestial war whose island sank in the drowning. Now, all Lumerians submit to the Emperor and his strict laws about magic. He decides what magic can be practiced and what powers remain forbidden. He decides who will die for possession of the forbidden magic. And at 19 is, well, at birth, everybody has their magic bound. At 19, they go through a ceremony in front of everyone with priests that reveals their magic. And unfortunately for Lear, who's already had issues with her family, people in her family being found to have forbidden magic, which means death, Lear has no magic, which is pretty much a death sentence in itself, or at least banishment from their kingdom. And then we have followed through this story. In the whole first book, slow burn to a T, there were things. I did do a review on it if anybody's interested. I greatly enjoyed it and mean to continue on with the series. Moving on to the next week of December 9th starts with Tailored Realities by Brandon Sanderson. This is a collection of 10 short stories, some previously published, like Defending Elysium, others that are new to this collection. It says from futuristic detective thrillers to inventive space opera, superhero action, high tech fantasy, and beyond, these gripping standalone reads have never before been gathered into one volume, with many available here for print for the first time. We will have to get that from a library. Then a suspense fiction comedic mystery. Everyone in the group chat dies by L.M. Chilton. Kirby Cornell needs a break from everything. Her crumbling apartment in the sleepy town of Crowhurst, famous for its bucolic countryside and second-rate serial killer from the 90s, her dead-end job, her sleazy landlord, her messy roommates, and most of all, the terrible thing they all did. Luckily, that hasn't caught up with her just yet until a new message on their old group chat pops up. Everyone in the group chat dies. It's the first text her ex-roommate Esme has sent for ages. But that's not the really weird thing. The really weird thing is Esme died 12 months ago. There is something about it that just catches me. It sounds really fun with that one. It might not be supposed to be fun, but it sounds like it. Then, all the way at the end of the month on December 30th, we have the first in an Empire of Blood series, We Who Will Die by Stacia Stark. Life in the perilous Thorn District is a constant battle for Arvel and her younger brothers. and the vampire standing on her doorstep is about to turn their world upside down. Faced with an unthinkable choice, Aurora makes a magically binding vow to do the impossible: kill the Emperor, an ancient vampire created by the god Umbros. But first, she must enter the Sundering, an arena where only the fastest, strongest, and deadliest survive long enough to be selected for the Emperor's elite guard. To survive the arena and complete her mission, Aravel must get to the bottom of a conspiracy that will change everything she thought she knew about herself and the two vampires who are deeply entwined with her destiny. You know I love it. You know I love the competition settings. And our final one is An Arcane Inheritance by Camilla Cole. This is dark academia contemporary fantasy, and it actually labels itself in the new adult fiction range. Warren University has stood amongst the Ivy elite for centuries, built on the bones and forbidden magic of its most prized BIPOC students, hiding the rot of a secret society that will do anything to keep their own powers burning bright, no matter who they must sacrifice along the way. Ellery Morgan is determined to prove that she belongs at Warren University, an Ivy League school whose history is deeply linked to occult rumors and dark secrets. But as she soon settles into her freshman year, something about the ornate buildings and shadowy paths feels strangely familiar. And with every passing day, the sense of deja vu grows increasingly sinister. Dark academias can be cool, occult settings, secret societies, and the whole deja vu sense. I wonder how we're going to play that off. Our honorable mentions for December, starting on the 2nd, we have a bunch of conclusions. The first one up is the conclusion of the Nightfell trilogy, The Dark is Descending by Chloe C. Panoranda. Then the end of the Kingdom trilogy, This Brutal Moon by Bethany Jacobs. The end of the Edinburgh Nights series, I think it's a quartet, whatever the 4 books thing is. Secrets of the First School by T.L. Hushlu, a companion stories in the Shadowhunters world, Better in Black by Cassandra Clare. This is a set of 10 stories following different couples it's just individual stories about these couples to give you more time with your favorite couples of the Shadowhunter world. The penultimate novel of the Lightlark saga, Crown Tide by Alex Astor. One that I wasn't sure if it was a duology, but it is apparently a trilogy. So this is the second book in the trilogy. The Rebel and the Rose by Catherine Doyle of the City of Phantom. And finally, on December 9th is An Archive of Romance by Ava Reed. It is a study in drowning novella following one of the couples mentioned in the novel. I won't spoil it by saying who or what. It is just supposed to be a collection of memos, illustrations, and mementos, I think it said. Those are the 10 that I'm excited that are releasing in December, and hopefully I'll be able to pick up at least maybe 1 or 2 of them relatively in the next few months. If you would like to know about more books coming out, though, I do have new releases every Monday discussing the books that are actually releasing that specific week. So we go over more genres and more books in general. I would love to know, though, what you're looking forward to in December. And I hope that you're having a great day, finding something good to read, and that I will see you in the next one.